Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gotham City. I'm your host, Levy Rozman. This is a podcast where I talk to people who live in the chess world on the 64 squares, but also beyond them. But in this episode, we are staying within the chess world as we talk to Aryan Tari. He is a grandmaster from Norway. He's the second-ranked player in Norway behind one guy named Magnus Carlsen or something like that. Maybe you've heard of him, the world champion. We talked about, obviously, the life of a near 2700 GM as Aryan is. And I should just say that we recorded this episode about 2 months ago. I've just been extremely bad at managing my podcast schedule and inviting guests and uploading these things. I'm going to get better. I'm just working on a handful of things right now, so please bear with me. And this episode is being launched the day after that Aryan defeated Magnus for the first time in the Armageddon portion of Norway chess. So a huge win for him. He's currently having, I think, one of his best classical tournaments ever, and he's as close to 2700 as he's ever been before. We also played a game of chess against each other when he was like 12 or 13 visiting New York. We talk about that as well. I hope you enjoy the episode. Cool, you all good to start?
Yeah, all good. Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna try to not clear my throat as much. I told you I had really terrible allergies.
Was that why you had to go to the doctor yesterday? It was, nothing serious, I hope.
No, it's not like my throat is closing, but the last 2 days I felt like I was hit in the head with a baseball bat.
Shit.
Yeah, it was really bad. Do you have allergies?
Just to pollen. I don't know. Is it same in
pollen.
English?
Yeah,
pollen.
Pollen.
Like grass and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I sometimes take these tablets.
What are they called in Norway? Your brand name allergy tablets.
Just gluten allergies. I just got it from my doctor. Just the tablet. I'm not sure if it has a special name, but it's just tablets I take for the allergy.
By the way, I did hit the record button, so our first topic of conversation would be allergies.
We're already live already?
Yeah, we're already, so this is like I always get complaints from viewers if I talk to my guests who are like very strong grandmasters about anything that's not chess. So.
I said gluten. I mean pollen, of course. I misspelled. That is not the best start.
No. It's okay. But I always am interested how it works in other countries. Like here, we have 7 tablets that can solve the same problem, and they're all sold by different companies. And like here, we have Zyrtec, Claritin, Allegra, this other company that I can't pronounce, and you just don't know. Honestly, like some of them will make you sleepy. Like, do your pills make you sleepy for allergies?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I guess that's normal. That's like the side effect that can make you sleepy.
Yeah.
Do you also have allergy for pollen or?
Yeah, for trees. That's why it's really bad right now because all the trees are blooming here, and winter came early. Spring came early. Because
it's the season for pollen now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm feeling awful. Do you ever play tournaments with really bad allergies? Like, you ever play a tournament when you were in really bad shape physically? And
no, not really. I mean, I don't really have that many allergies, fortunately. So it's not been a problem. But I can imagine it must be like so tough and annoying. Like it must feel shitty at the board. Did it happen to you?
No, but I don't think so. But it's definitely annoying to be productive. Like I can imagine if you're trying to study chess and your brain's not working or you take some allergy medication. But listen, some people can't eat a food. Like they just die immediately if they eat a food. So you don't have any food allergies, I hope. Like
luckily I don't. Yeah, that's not easy.
No, that's but that's why I asked to postpone from yesterday. Yeah, I contacted my allergist and I really wanted an earlier appointment. They wanted to see me on Monday. I was like, please see me earlier. I'm in really bad shape. And so luckily they obliged. But
so it was like a real emergency situation.
It was pretty bad. I mean, from the standpoint of I couldn't do any work at all, and like I have to make my video streams. I mean, one can argue it's not work. Speaking of a profession that we can discuss whether it's hard work or hard labor or not. You're 100% a professional chess player, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So, what do you do all day?
It's a good question.
I know, that's why I wanted to
It's a good
start with
question. I've been asked that many times from a lot of people who are not like into chess. They're like, yeah, what do you do all day? And yeah, I mean, basically I'm trying to study chess like 5-6 hours every day. So wake up, do chess, let's say for 2 hours or maybe 3 hours. And then obviously you need a break. You can't do chess all day. So take a break, maybe go to the gym, maybe go for a walk, come back, eat something, and then you do a couple of hours more in the evening. So yeah, try to do 5-6 hours every day. But besides that, I mean, I'm doing other things like seeing friends, watching TV series, relaxing, going to the gym. Yeah, just normal stuff. So I would say it's like the chess is like a normal work day. Like, so people go to the office, but I'm like for 6-7 hours, but I'm working on chess in those hours.
I like that of all the things that you mentioned outside of chess, you said going to the gym twice. So you said, maybe you take a break, go to the gym, or maybe, besides chess, you go to the gym. So is gym like a very important part because chess is so sedentary, you're constantly sitting? Or do you do it because it actually makes you play better when you're in better shape?
I guess it's just that I don't really do any other sports. And I mean, besides the chess, I have the free time. It's not like I'm doing so much else. So I have a lot of time for it, and then it makes sense to go to the gym. But also at the same time, it helps for the chess, and just in general, being in good shape is just good for your health.
You're just lifting weights?
Yeah, lifting weights. Yeah.
I'm very curious. How is what is the regime in Norway? Do you do like chest and triceps in a day? Do you do like back and biceps? Is it universal, or do you have like your own specific workout plan in Norway? In the States, that's what you do. If you go to the gym a couple of times a week, you have to hit like 2 at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. Like biceps, triceps, one day like shoulder, leg day. Yeah, it's not like you do full body. Usually you concentrate on one body part.
Is skipping leg day also a meme in Norway?
Yeah, for sure. It's okay. Like sometimes if I have something like important I have to do, let's say the day after, 2 days after, you know that you're gonna have the pain after leg day. Let's say if I'm gonna go somewhere, and then I skip it. But it's tricky going to the gym when you're at home, because when you go to the tournaments, you very often you're at hotels where there is no gym, and then let's say you play a tournament for 2 weeks. Like tomorrow, I'm going to the European Championship, and I'm staying at a hotel where there's like no gym, and then I don't get to like work out properly for 2 weeks, and then you lose shape. So it's not ideal, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so here we have like our tournaments are mostly held in kind of decent chain hotels like a Holiday Inn, or one of these like major. They have maybe 40 or 50 hotels. I think it's pretty different in Europe as far as I remember, but we always have a gym in our hotels. But it's even worse because in your case there is no gym. In our case there is a gym, and it's horrible. So you know what I mean? There's like one treadmill. There's like one broken rack of weights. There's like one bench. I mean, there's like all this strange stuff like a jump rope, medicine, exercise ball. You can like roll around on it, but it's, yeah. So I know you go to these tournaments and then all your progress is gone. Every time I go to a chess tournament, I pack workout clothes because I think I'm going to go running or swimming, and I never do it. Like, do you ever work out at tournaments? Because I feel like it's just impossible. I mean, but
it's great that you bring it at least, so you have the option.
Yeah.
I mean, if I stay at a hotel where there is a gym, I do it. Yeah, because I mean, you cannot prepare all day. Let's say you play for 5 hours, you prepare for 4 hours, then still you have like many hours left of the day. So what are you going to do?
Well, actually, here you will play a second game. We have.
Yeah. US is like a completely different story, of course. I'm not used to that at all. Like in Europe, I mean, of course, you have these double round tournaments, but it's just I think last time I played these double round tournaments was probably like 6-7 years ago. Just so used to not playing that anymore. But yeah, for your case, it's like you basically have no time to rest at all. Like you play at 10 a.m. I guess, or 9 a.m. and then second round is at 3 p.m. or how is it?
No. So it's actually that would be nice, but that's actually how they usually do the last day. So here, mostly it's it's like an afternoon, like 11 or 12 o'clock, and 6 or 7.
Okay.
So your game can end at 10 or 11 o'clock. I actually don't know how little kids do it. Like adults, okay, we are used to staying up late, but little kids who are like 10 years old, 11 years old, they have to they have to play their games until late at night. I don't know how they do it.
That's very tricky. Yeah, they're probably used to like go to bed at 9, 10, and then they have to go to bed at 12. But then it really depends if you're like a morning person or not, because for me, I think 11, 12 would be much better than let's say 9 o'clock. So I would prefer that much more. How is it for you?
Well, I think I built up a bad habit of just like the second I wake up, I go on my phone. I think that's pretty common for most people.
For sure, yeah, I also do that.
Yeah, and the problem is that I the past couple of years, I just wake up like 7, 8 in the morning. That's just what happens. Even if I go to bed at like 2. So I have to go to bed. There was a period for a little while I was waking up at 10 o'clock or something, like 9, 10 o'clock. But now we also have the puppy. So if I don't wake up by 7, well, there's no better way to say this, but he poops all over the floor. So
okay. You have a good reason to wake up.
Yeah, actually, yesterday I caught him beforehand. I figured out the exact time that he starts trying to, because I let him outside. Today I slept in. I slept poorly at night, so I just decided I'm going to sleep until 8 o'clock, and he made me pay for it. I got downstairs and there was some good stuff.
Never gonna do that again, Levy.
Oh my god, you
have to learn it the hard way.
Yeah, it's a risk I have to take, so we have to be in bed early. So yeah, I mean, for me, the 2 rounds a day is just the worst, really. On the other hand, the only tournament I played in Europe, it was 1 game a day. It was every day at 3 p.m. Like, I just didn't know what to do the rest of the day. I just didn't know, and it's probably because it was such a small town. Pardubice, Czech Open. You've probably played there before.
I've actually not played there, but I know I have a lot of friends who went there and played, and it's very popular events.
It was a cool little town, but I can't imagine spending 10 of my days there. I don't know what you would ever do there for 10 days, and what you do when you only have a game a day. I was just bored, and
I can imagine. So it must be tough. It's not like Prague, where it's a big city and you can go sightseeing all day.
Yeah, so I guess it's good and bad. But I was gonna ask you some fun questions about like different hotels and whatnot in Europe. But I wanted to follow up on like, do you have a schedule every day of what exactly you want to look at? Are you super organized? Like, is it mostly openings? Do you do some calculation training? Oh, you have a Chess Tempo account, right?
Oh yeah, how did you know that?
Doesn't it say Aryan Tari? Isn't your full name there?
Yeah, it is, but I thought you cannot see is it stats or the ranking list on Chess Tempo.
No, you can.
You can still see it.
Yeah.
Because back in the days, I mean, I've had a Chess Tempo account since like 2012.
Yeah,
so
me too.
for 10 years. When I do my tactics, it was like always on Chess Tempo usually, and when I was a kid I was told you should do Chess Tempo like 40 minutes every day, and then it's like just been a habit, and I still do it, although the site is like, I guess, not as much popular at all like it used to be. But yeah, then it was like this top 10 list, and I was trying to be there. I didn't know that you can still see that ranking list. That's cool.
No, yeah, I don't. There was Vidit on there, for example.
Vidit, yeah, I remember. Dania was also there.
Naroditsky?
Yeah. I remember I was playing Gibraltar in 2015. And then I was talking to Dania, he was also playing. And then he told me he sees me on Chess Tempo, and he was also on that list.
It's I have found that it has the best tactics for like title players. Like, do you agree? I feel like they're tricky. They're like, you can do quick puzzles. You can do some of the standard puzzles are impossible.
For sure. Yeah, I usually do like, what's it called? Medium. So it's like a mix between
mixed.
The hard and easy ones. But in general, I like the puzzles because they are like relevant from positions that actually happened.
Yep.
It's not like crazy random positions with three queens and two rooks. You find sometimes these studies which are like would never occur in a normal game. So I like the examples.
On chess.com in particular, once you go high enough, basically it sometimes feels like 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 is like an endgame study. And when I solve positions, I don't want to do those. I feel like when you do endgame studies, it's a completely different training because it's never going to happen. So you just have to be very creative. You have to store all the variations and all the little tricks. Whereas like games are just completely different. It's like, okay, it's move 45. I have 1 minute on the clock. Like, how will I win this position where I have a win in 30 seconds? Yeah, that's why I brought up Chess Tempo, because I remember seeing you there. Dubov is there too.
Dubov is there too? I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know if it's Dubov, but it's Blitzord, which is his...
must be. He? I guess he's pretty high, or...
Yeah, he's like top 3, top 4 in Blitz. And I remember so it was really funny. His solve percentage is very low compared to everybody else. They're like 80%, 75. His is like 60, but his average solve time is 20 seconds.
Okay.
So he just makes moves like...
The first instinct.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just too lazy to calculate that, I guess. But usually at his level, I mean, his first instinct is definitely right. So
it's usually good. And then there's also, do you know Depresniak? Who that is?
Wait, it's Grishuk, no?
Yeah, he's there too.
Wow, I didn't know that. I just knew that Vidit and Daniel was solving there like back in the days. I didn't know like all these super GMs were there too. That's cool.
I know. Well, actually, again, I'm not 100% sure, but his username is like shortened. You know, it used to be on like back in the day. It said Depresniak, but now it's like DPRSNK or something. And I was like, is that Grishuk? So yeah, quite funny that there's this secret old website. You know, you can see in the comments too, sometimes you get a puzzle wrong, you want to see what the comments say, and the comments are from like 2011.
Yeah, the puzzle has been there for ages. I don't know how long the site has been running. It must be like since 2008 or something, or
probably around when chess.com was born. Yeah, 2007, 2008. Yeah, people will never know, man. Now there's these big major sites. Chess Tempo is still relatively popular among like intermediate players, but it's not pretty. They don't do a crazy amount of marketing. It's just sort of, it is what it is. You still do the 40 minutes a day? Do you solve an amount of puzzles, or do you just set aside some time and...
Actually, the last couple of months, I've been doing more chess.com. That's survival mode.
Oh.
To be honest, I'd probably like Chess Tempo more. I should maybe switch to it. I just thought in my head that like nobody's doing Chess Tempo anymore, and it's everybody switched to chess.com. But now that you say these super GMs are there, it's more tempting to go back.
One of my best friends is trying to kind of like be like top 5, top 4, top 3 on Chess Tempo. He's solving all the time. And it was good motivation for me because I wanted to catch him. So like in March and February, I went on and I started like grinding 50 puzzles a day, 60 puzzles a day. It's very addicting, especially, I don't know if you experience this because you're far better at chess than I am, but when you do a lot of puzzles and you like really start actually training, you get in form in terms of like solving the puzzles. So you get like really sharp. So oftentimes my first instinct ends up being correct. Whereas if I started right now, I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to be like all over the place. But you ever get like in the zone and you can solve like 95%, or do you always solve 95%?
No, not always at all. I definitely have like bad days. No, for sure. It feels like the same for me. Like sometimes if I'm like, if let's say if I solve 8, 9 puzzles in a row, then you feel really good about yourself, and then your confidence goes up, and then you really get in the zone and you think that you're going to do all these puzzles. But it also happens like I start badly, and then it's very easy to tilt. I don't know if it happened to you.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you get angry when you get even like one puzzle wrong, and you're like,
I can definitely tell. Let's say if I start doing chess tempo and I have like 2 out of 4, I do like two wrong in the beginning, and then you get like mad and you don't want to spend so much time. So you do your first instinct and then it's often wrong because you have to calculate, and then you get like in a bad rhythm. So that happens so many times, man.
Yeah.
I guess it's normal.
I guess so. Yeah, it's really funny that like all of us like look normal on the outside, but if you put us in front of chess tempo, like I've had days I'm like 15 out of 15. I'm just on fire. I get one wrong. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, let's focus. Like, we're gonna focus. So I really slow down next time. I get a second one wrong. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna like throw my computer out a window. This is insane. I'm so mad. And then out of nowhere, I'm like from 100% down to 75%. I'm down like 20 points. It's
happens
so
to me all the time.
Yeah, and then it does feel good to like calm down and get it back, but it's like, I mean, but that's blitz on chess tempo. Like the standard puzzles can take you 30 minutes sometimes. It's just impossible sometimes. I feel.
I've never done the standard puzzles.
Blitz and mixed.
Yeah, just blitz is easier, and I guess I'm like too lazy to sit there for a long time. But it must be good training. It's nice that you do it.
I guess my logic is that I'll need to be sharp later in the games. In the middle games, for me, I think I just have bigger issues than calculating winning positions. It's like, you know, decision making. So you have like 3 or 4 decisions, which it's like impossible, I feel like, to train that specific thing unless I'm wrong. But oftentimes your prep goes into your middle game, so you have to know what you're doing.
I would actually say that middle game is the most difficult part of chess to train. It's very hard because openings you have like all these books, videos, educational things that you can learn from, but middle, and then you have all these end game books, but middle game is very hard and at the same time very important. So I was always like unsure how to train on it.
How do you train now? Or is it mostly like openings aside from tactics? Are you just basically trying to get comfortable positions in the first 10-15 moves with both colors in every line?
To be honest, I would say it's like, probably 99% openings and then tactics. This is basically the only thing I train, but I know that analyzing your games is maybe 99% was a bit much, but lately it's been like mostly that. But I know that analyzing your games is supposed to be so important, and that's how you should like learn from your mistakes. I was doing that more before. It's hard because, you know, these days you just see with the engine after your game is finished, like on Chess Bomb or Chess 24, you just see with the engine, and then you already know what you did wrong, and then it's you just don't go that deeply. But I think it's very, very important to try to go deeper and understand like why you made those mistakes and really learn from them instead of just looking with the engine. But it's easier said than done.
Well, is that what you do? Like, for example, what was your most recent tournament that you played?
That's a good question. Actually, I haven't played. My recent real tournament was in November. Feels like ages ago.
That wasn't Norway Chess. That was October.
No, that was Grand Swiss in Riga. That was like top 100 playing. Was qualifying to the.
How did you score?
I started so well. I was like, I beat Parham, the 2700 player with black, and some other GM. Then I was like 2.5 out of 3, and I had this game with Fedusev. You said it was like a crazy game on Twitter. Do you remember?
I have.
You commented on it on Twitter.
Did I say something nice?
Yeah, you said like this is the craziest game you've seen for a long time or something like that.
Fedusev Tari.
Yeah. I think we both. I had like pawn on a7 and queen on a8. It was just totally crazy game. But I could have won that game. I was so close to win, and then it would be like 3.5 out of 4, and I would be in the top. And then I drew that game, so I slowed down a bit. I was just doing really well for the most part. I was having like 2750, 2800 performance, but then I lost like 2 games in a row towards the end, and then I tilted. In the end, I ended up like 0 in rating. I think maybe 50% or +1. So it was the normal result, but it could have been so much better. So it felt it felt like a bad tournament after the event because I was doing so well.
I see. Yeah. I just pulled it up. I do remember this game. That's actually so crazy that I just completely forgot this game happened. But the same, honestly, at this point happens with my own games. I know, like, when I'm actually actively trying to play and memorize everything, my memory is completely focused on that. But yeah, that's incredible. I mean, yeah, I remember this game now, looking at it. When you play games like this, which are, like, for example, here on like Move 23-24, computer is saying it's -2, right? It's saying that like Fedosseev is like winning or whatever. Do you feel that? Like, do you actively feel like you're maybe much worse or on the verge of loss, like in a complicated position? Or are you just trying to find the best move and completely not concerned with that?
No, for sure. I'm really concerned with that.
Okay.
And at that point, I knew I was probably going to lose this game, and I was just feeling really bad about it, and it was really affecting me. So once I got the chance and the tables turned, I was just so excited and really focused to get the most out of it. Because, you know, when you play a player of Fedosseev's caliber, when you get a position where it's -2, you're supposed to lose that, like 99.9% of the time. He's basically not gonna make an error. He's a super strong GM. So when I got a chance, it was like a big shock to me. Then you really have to take it. And I could even have won the game, but in a draw in the end.
So with a guy like Fedosseev, I don't know his repertoire, obviously, but I do know he plays Caro-Kann, and I'm imagining at 2700 it's not his main weapon, or is it his main weapon against e4? Like, what goes into preparing for a guy like that? Like, I know you play e4, you know he might play Caro-Kann, so how much prep do you do on, like, the advanced variation? Like, you know, is he going to play bishop f5 or c5? Like, take me through, without leaking too much, I mean, just what goes into preparing for a 2700 guy, who you can kind of predict might play a Caro-Kann.
Actually, Fedosseev is like one of those players who's really difficult to predict what he's going to play. He's just so creative, and just if you watch his games, he always creates entertaining and interesting games. And one of the reasons is that he can basically play every opening. I would not say like he's super deep in his openings, but he knows a bit, and he can just play like absolutely everything. So when you play a player like Fedosseev, I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I prepared a bit for the Caro-Kann, but mostly I prepared a bit for everything. Like just not so much, but let's say you prepare 20 minutes for Caro-Kann, like 20 minutes for Najdorf, 20 minutes for Sveshnikov, 20 minutes for e5. Just a bit on everything, not to get too surprised, but you kind of like predict one opening. So I think I watched like this one game Fedosseev played. It was c4, knight c6. First move white, c4, knight c6, knight c3, and then g5 or something. He played against my former coach. I mean, Fedosseev has so many crazy games, and he just wants to play interesting chess, and he's one of those players which is always entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean, just like going through this game, I imagine you remember all of these games start to finish and all the critical moments?
Not really, no. Like,
no?
right after the game, I do, maybe even 1 week after the game. But I mean, now we're in March and the game was in November, so I have a fine memory, but I'm not like Magnus. I don't have that memory.
No, yeah, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what that difference is. Like,
I can tell you. I have actually one crazy story about that.
Okay, yeah. Well, you could tell me about. I mean, I was gonna have a whole separate line of questioning about Magnus, considering but what's the story?
I have a crazy story about the memory of Magnus.
Okay.
It's just one of the most amazing things I've seen. So we're back in 2013. I was just 14 years old at the time. So I was invited to play European Team Championship for the national team. was really thrilled about it. Obviously, first time playing for the national team, and so most of our like GMs they couldn't go. They had like some stuff. And they like work or they were not professional. Magnus was going to play the match against Anna, so he could also not play. So the federation decided to send a young team. So it was me on the first board actually. I was just rated 2400s, but I got the first board, and then it was so my friends, so FIDE masters and international masters on the 4 first boards, but we were all like 13, 14 years old.
Yep.
So we sent a very young team. And then after tournament, when we got back, we were supposed to have like one training session with Magnus. It was the first time I had kind of a training session with him, and we were all like thrilled about it. And that was right after he finished his match against Vichy in 2013.
Oh, he must have been in a good mood.
Yeah, it was definitely good when he just became world champion. So we had this session, and we came there, the 4 or 5 of us, and then we were going to show our games from the European Team Championship, and we had to like pull up our computer. We didn't remember, and so on. We forgot it because it was like 2 weeks ago, and it was crazy. Like he basically remembered all our games.
Wow.
From start to finish almost.
Wow.
Without seeing the computer or without seeing the notation. So I was just so shocked. So
wow.
I was on move 6-7, and I was trying to remember my game, and he just knew what happened.
Yeah, that's and
I don't know how that works. Like he's seen it once, and then he just remembers it.
And the craziest thing about that is he probably just observed the games either while they happened or afterwards, just clicked through them, and he just remembered them. Like there's no way Magnus sat there memorizing all your games. He just did. Like that's probably what happened. Yeah, that's
crazy.
Do you? I really wonder if that's like the one major difference between him and the rest of the top guys. Is it just that? Like, is it just the ability to memorize everything? Not the theory, you're not memorizing the theory, but just memorizing a massive database of ideas, patterns. Like, is that it? Is that the major difference? Or is it, I don't know. What makes someone that much better than everybody else?
It can't be the only thing.
No, it can't be. But is it the major thing?
It plays a huge role. I think it's one of those things for sure. He has an amazing memory, and I think memory is very important as a chess player. So he remembers all those like old games, pattern recognition, the things he reads. He usually remembers what he reads. That helps a lot.
It sounds like, so simple, right?
Yeah.
Just remember what you read, stupid.
But to be able to manage to like get it from your head to the board and not mix up. I mean, obviously everybody can mix up once in a while, but his memory rarely fails to remember this stuff. So yeah, I think it's like one of those things. But besides that, it's just a mix of everything that works for him. Like he's just insane talent.
Yeah,
and, most of all the motivation and dedication he has to chess.
Yeah, but I imagine that's like slowly gonna fade. Like I was thinking about this, and even all the recent comments that he said about only playing Firouzja, like even all these online events. It's almost a joke at this point. Like he's just gonna win. I mean, there's like Ding Liren was playing him in the semifinal. Magnus just beat Ding Liren. Ding Liren's supposed to kind of be like the guy. Every one of these online events, it's like, we just have to sit and wait for somebody to maybe beat Magnus. He's just gonna win all the tournaments. I don't know. I'm like, it's sort of funny.
At this point, it just feels like he's at a completely different level. I feel like, like top 10. I mean, you have top 10, but Magnus is just like, you said, let's say the players from top 2 to 10, you have them, but then Magnus just feels like a completely different level from them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, like when his level will drop, but it's so so impressive that he keeps always winning the tournaments. And for Magnus, it's like when he's in bad shape, he performs at 28,800, let's say. So his lowest level is at that very high level. But let's say if you take a player like Fabi, let's say his lowest level might be like 2,700 or 2,650.
Yep, and we've seen that in recent months. I mean, you're not saying a crazy thing. He did struggle. I think he was at some point like 27. I don't know what Fabi's rating is currently, but like I think he went down to 2770, 2780, and Fabi was 2840. First of all, he was 2840 right at some point. So, a
huge difference, yeah.
So that is true. You definitely have to perform, like you said, like 2,700 or even down into the 26. But you're at your highest rating ever. I was actually looking at your rating graph. You just gain points. Like, okay, you have a month, you like lose some points. So are you?
Actually, yeah, I peaked at my highest rating 2660, but I did lose like 10 points in the Norwegian league. So I played 2 weeks ago. I played in the Norwegian league. I lost like three points, and then 1 month ago, I lost 7 points. So losing all my points in the Norwegian league. Should probably not play in Norway.
Are you losing to just like IMs? Is it just like Norwegian IMs or?
Actually, so I lost with White to GM 2400. He's like a veteran. He doesn't really play these days.
I probably played him on chess.com. I played some Norwegian older guys with GMs.
Yeah, it might be you played them on chess.com. But I mean, it shouldn't happen because I'm professional and really playing more than him. But I mean, everybody has like bad days. So I just played horrible that day and I lost to him. He's a decent player. He can play well. And then
I want to ask you kind of it's a tough question because I would hate getting asked this question if I like lost a game that maybe I shouldn't have lost. Do you lose games like that because you just walk in expecting a victory? It's just kind of like I'm gonna play and I'm gonna win at some point, or is it just like something else contributed to it? I mean, you prepared.
That was definitely one of the things. I remember before that game, I was like thinking, there is no way I'm not gonna beat this guy. I mean, I'm rated 250 points more. I'm White. I spend much more time on chess than him, and it should be an easy win. And,
I mean, it's a fair mentality. It's a good mentality.
Yeah, but it was probably a bit too arrogant, and you should always be objective. And I would say it was I deserved to lose that game because chess is an objective game. You cannot look at it like that. It's like once it became equal, I was like always like telling myself, you have to win this game. You're so much better than him. The draw is not a final result. You have to beat him. And of course, he's not a bad player. He's like 2400 GM. He's not in his best shape, but still, he's a GM after all, and he has played chess at a very high level, and he has beaten good players, so he can have a good day.
And
you should never underestimate. I usually don't do it, but sometimes you can get overconfident. And
I ask because I feel like it's natural. Kind of a natural thing to feel. I also am very curious, like how that happens, right? Because for me, I'll say like mentally, for me, the cutoff for a person who I feel I can play on like very even terms with is still like GM, but maybe like 25-50. Like for me, like if I'm like in good form, I feel like I can play like on good terms. Once I look at guys like you, I'm like, oh God, I gotta really like be solid, I can't, they're really good, I'll see what happens. And so I'm wondering, when you play a tournament like Norway Chess, for example, you're playing all these 2770s, Magnus is there. Your mentality is not, I'm professional, I'm 250 points higher, I'm gonna beat everybody. Is your mentality just like, I'll play my best and we'll see what happens? That has to be your mentality, right? Like when you play all these like top guys, what are you thinking in your head? Is it just, do you have to convince yourself like I absolutely belong here? Do you have to convince yourself? No,
it's a very good question, and I think the mentality plays such a big role in chess, especially when you go into one of these tournaments. I think mentality is one of the biggest factors. And that's what you should tell yourself, that I'm just going to play my best chess, and whatever happens happens. I mean, you can tell yourself that I belong here, but at the same time, you have to also be objective. There is a reason they have like 150 points, 100 points more than you. So, but I think you should just tell yourself, I'm a very good chess player. I'm just going to do my best, and what happens happens. But it's much easier said than done, because once you play these top 10 guys, like it's very difficult to just forget who you're playing. Let's say if you get a slightly better position, it's much harder for you to understand the fact that you're better. Let's say you're playing Magnus, your position is good, to understand that you're actually better than, let's say, if I'm playing a Norwegian 2400 GM.
Right.
Then you're like so sure I'm better, you might even overestimate your position. But if you're playing Magnus, you're like, really? Am I better? No, it can't be. I mean, he must have some resources. There must be some hidden ideas. So I feel then it very often becomes that you don't really know the evaluation is, because it takes a lot for you to be sure. Let's say you're always like a bit doubting yourself. You're not sure. It's tough. I remember I had this game with Magnus where in last Norway chess where I was completely winning. I was black, so it would be like the biggest achievement in my life, let's say, to beat him with black. And I got a good position from the opening, and he was spending a lot of time. I was getting more and more confident, and my advantage was getting more and more. And at some point it was -5. I was about to make the winning move, and then I spent some more time and made the other move, and then he defended well and became a draw.
Rook takes
F2.
I remember,
rook takes F2. It was like my first instinct what I was going to play. I'm usually good at tactics, so I see those things very fast. But then I was like, I was going to play rook takes F2, but then I was like, no, it can't be. Like, he must have some idea after that. Rook takes F2. It can't be that that's just winning. So I was like seeing things that were not there, kind of, which is sad, because it was like, if you just trust yourself, you would win that game. But yeah, it's easier said than done. And after game, of course, when you see with the engine, it's -5. You're surprised, because you didn't think that your advantage was that big. You thought maybe you were better, but you get like shocked, because you don't expect to have that advantage against Magnus. So mentality is hard.
After a game like that, like not converting, do you feel sad, or do you feel angry at yourself?
Actually, most people were like, you must have been so mad, so sad about it, like it was the biggest chance to beat Magnus and so on. To be honest, I mean, I should have probably been like very mad and sad, but the day before, it was the first round, I lost a very painful game to Richard Rapport.
Right.
And the day after, I was going to play black with Magnus. So I was just really afraid of starting with 0 out of 2. And that would be like, it's very hard for me mentally to start like that. And I cannot say I was that angry. I was just happy to play a good game against Magnus and get on the scoreboard.
I remember this tournament, and it's actually funny. Like this edition of Norway Chess, when you had all these guys. I mean, oh my God, dude! I'm looking at this player list. Only 6 people, and you're surrounded by Magnus, Firouzja, Rapport, Nepo, and Karyakin. I mean, dude, this is some bullshit, man. That's were you I mean, it's tough to ask this question. Were you more excited to play them regardless of the result, just for the learning experience, or was it also like, oh my God, this is just like, who do I even try to beat here? I guess you try to beat of that field. God, I don't know who can you even. Rapport and Firouzja probably give you the best chances, right?
Yeah, the thing is also that it's not like you have to beat them. I mean, draw is also not a bad result, but beating them is, of course, the biggest achievement. You try to play, but you just have to try to play well, and what happens happens. But usually when I play these guys, I'm more like, how are they going to beat me? You know, like I'm a very strong GM, and it should. I don't make that many mistakes, so it's not going to be like, it's not like out of the blue and that I'm going to lose games. I have to make like mistakes for them to beat me. So I'm more like that. Like they have the pressure, and then let's say if they overpress, because they have to beat me, I'm the clearly lowest rated in the field, then I can get chances and then I can use them. I think that's better mentality.
And sometimes you wonder, like, butterfly effect. If you play rook takes f2 against Magnus, who else do you beat, like, in the early rounds? I just feel like I'm a firm believer in the fact that if you start hot in a tournament, that's it. You're just gonna win game. Like, there's also chess karma. Like, you catch fire. I mean, like, I think all the best tournaments I've ever played in my life, I usually beat a strong player in round 2. You beat somebody like, what? You obviously are playing a closed event, so you play everybody.
Yeah, the confidence is key. The confidence is key for sure. You beat, let's say, Magnus in round 2.
I mean, dude,
you feel like God, and then
I mean, the rest of the players are trash compared to that, right?
Yeah, and then you're like, who the hell is Karyaki? You know, like I just beat Magnus, so you play Karyaki the next game with White, you almost don't consider yourself a favorite.
I mean, it's but. What I always told students, especially like younger ones who are slowly going up, is like, you're gonna have a lot of failures right before you succeed, right? And we tell students that, especially, your rating might not reflect it, your results might not reflect it, but you're there. So does it feel that way also, or does it like, no, I mean, that's bullshit, I just want to win some games, or like, you feel yourself getting closer and playing closer to the level?
I would say I feel I'm getting closer to the level, but at the same time, it's it's also a big difference. So it's like 150 points. It's not that much when you're, let's say, at the 1800 level, but once you get like a high rating, just like even 20-30 points, it matters a lot. It's very hard to gain rating, and I really feel that. It's like one of the sad things about chess is that you can work very hard, but you're never guaranteed results. But let's say if you study for an exam at school, if you read a lot and get ready for that exam for many, many hours you study, I mean, most probably you're definitely going to get the results. But for chess, you can, let's say, work for 6 hours every day for 1 month, and then you go to an event, and then you can go like minus 10 in rating. You're not guaranteed anything. I mean, it's tough, but you just have to do your best. I guess in the long run, the work you do always is gonna pay off. But sometimes the work you do can take like 1 year, 1.5 year before you get results for that work. So it can be. It can sometimes be a motivation killer.
In my life, the times that I actually just put everything aside and dedicated to chess, I had tremendous success. Like doing it 6 hours a day. I became an IM late, like at 22. I was 2200 when I was 19, and I wanted to become FM. Which was like a joke in hindsight, honestly. I just basically had to beat a bunch of 2200 FIDE rated players at like at Marshall, by the way. That was one of the things I wanted to bring up, but real quick. And I don't know, like sometimes when you study chess at that level, it's so different. That's what I tell. The lower you go in rating, the more fun it is, because it feels so much more interesting to study the game. You can learn so many new interesting ideas. And once you get to 2650, like you just said, every 10, 20 points, I mean, it's brutal, it feels like, because it's almost not fun anymore. I remember back, even low 2300s, there would be a game played, I would check like an interesting game that, you or any of some 2650 played some idea, and I would be, oh wow, I'd analyze it, and then I would go play it in my over-the-board tournaments 2 or 3 times. I would go 2 points out of 3, 2.5 out of 3, and then I would just like put it away. Now it feels like everybody knows everything. Doesn't matter your rating, everybody's studying everything, everybody's, hours and hours and hours into the game for like microscopic advantages, and I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know how you don't get depressed. It's like, you're going to this tournament When does it start? In a couple of days or?
It starts on Sunday, so I'm going to European Championship. I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Individual?
Yeah, in Slovenia.
That's a super fun event, right? Isn't that like a extremely fun event? Like it's very fun to watch. I don't know if it's fun to play, but it's like a brutal tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more fun to watch. It's like it's really intense though. It's 11 rounds without rest days. So you play
no rest days.
No rest. I was surprised when I looked at the schedule some days ago. It was always a rest day, but even no rest day. So you play 11 days in a row, tough games and very important ones too. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, especially now that I haven't played a real tournament like that for many months.
The winner gets something, no? If you win it,
the winner gets 20K. And
no. I mean, of course you get money, but I thought you got like a qualifications. I thought winner wins a World Cup or something. No, am I completely
top 20 qualifies to the World Cup?
Oh,
I mean, it's a really hard event. So if only the winner would qualify to the World Cup, I mean, one thing would be if the winner qualified to the candidates, but if only the winner qualifies to the World Cup, that would be like
okay.
Insane.
I didn't realize. And how many people are playing in yours?
It's like 300 people.
Average rating like 2,500.
Actually, it's less. It's like 2,350, I think. It's open, so basically anybody can play.
I see.
It's not like women's section and open section. It's all play in one group.
Okay. So in the first couple rounds, you play like 21, 22, 23, and then you start playing the rest, basically.
No, actually, in Swiss tournaments, it's usually like the top meets the middle. So if the average is 2,350, I'm like seeded number 15.
Oh, so you're gonna play? Okay.
I play, let's say 2340, 2330, maybe the first round, and then if you win, you play maybe 2,500.
Well, hopefully it's not a 2,300 from India.
Yeah, India is not in Europe, luckily.
They can't play. They can't play.
I mean, it's European Championship.
I know, but I thought actually anybody could play. You have to be from Europe.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason it's called European Championship.
I know. On the one hand, you make a lot of sense. On the other hand, I thought, oh, that's kind of fun. I don't know why. Now I look stupid, but I thought that anybody could play. Like, for example, okay, this is a very bad example, but we have New York State Championship, but anybody can play. So if you...
Okay, yeah, no, I guess that's... But they can play from like Indian Federation also?
It doesn't... I guess there it's different because it's like actual country. But here, I guess, like, if I didn't live in New York, I can play. But if I win the tournament, I'm not the New York State champion because I'm not a resident. So...
okay. Yeah, we have like club championships also in Norway where you can play from different clubs. But if you win, you're not like the champion for that club. Let's say the second place who is from that club gets the title done. So no, but it's pretty strict rules for this European Championship.
Okay.
But I understand what you mean, because let's say we have European Club Cup. That's a team event, and then that's like the Champions League of chess, and then you can have like players all around the world in your team, like players from India, players from Bangladesh, any country basically. But European individual is different. It's strict, and only people from Europe can play.
It's always fascinated me how the people who win the European individual, like last year it was Demchenko, right? I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They get 10 out of 11 in a field like that. I mean,
he got 10 out of 11.
I think he got 10 out of 11 or 9.5 or something.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know it was that much.
Like, how does that happen? I just don't understand. Like, at that level, that just blows my mind. What was your best result? Have you played it like every year?
No, actually, last time I played was 2016. I was thinking about it some days ago. It's really strange. Like, I didn't play for 6 years. But the reason for that was that usually people play to qualify for the World Cup. That's the reason they play.
I see.
So in 2016, I was pretty lucky. I became number 22, and top 23 were qualifying for the World Cup.
Wow, what a random number.
Yeah. I remember I made a draw in the last round, and making that draw was like 50-50 whether we was going to make it or not. So I was really nervous after a round. I was just like refreshing the chess results site all the time and seeing my tie breaks if I'm going to make it or not. Then in 2017, I won the World Junior Championship, so I qualified to World Cup. If you win the World Junior, to qualify to World Cup through that.
I got
And
you.
then but then the next World Cup was in 2019. So when I won World Juniors in end of 2017, I qualified the World Cup in 2019. And then this one in 2021, they actually changed the rules, so more players can play now. Every federation can send one player from their country to the World Cup. And me being number 2 in Norway, so last time it was in Russia, I got the spot because I'm number 2 in Norway. And Magnus, obviously, he has a rating spot. So.
Do you? The reason I asked if this tournament, I'm sorry, that's the train.
No problem.
The reason I asked, like, oh yeah, see, I always apologize in my videos for noise, but sometimes only I can hear it, not even the people in the on the other side. The reason I asked if this tournament is fun, it just it kind of reminds me. Well, I know in chess we have Olympiad, but it just reminds me like a bunch of like strong players, like all around the same age, kind of like in the same area. You don't like get to hang out with friends, like. You know, in the top 20 of this tournament, are you friendly with any of these people, or are you just kind of like, you know,
yeah,
I know them, but we're not really close friends?
I'm more friends with some of them. I mean, look, I definitely have like some closer friends there than others, but usually it's very intense and people are focused on their tournaments. I wouldn't say that's social necessarily. I mean, you cannot compare it to, let's say, European Youth Championship or World Youth Championship. That's, I would say, my most fun events, my most fun chess memories were from those tournaments when I was playing World Youth Under 12, World Youth Under 14. It's like so social. You go with people at your age, make new friends from different countries, and preparation is not that important. It just feels really good. But European individual championship is less like that. I mean, it's not like people from your age. It's like all of the people people can play there, and but I'm definitely looking forward to it, and it's going to be nice to see some of my friends again.
Dude, this is an insane field. The 50th seed is 2600.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so strong.
Oh my god.
So many 2600s. But actually just like one 2700, I think.
Yeah, well, Navarra is 2700, I guess.
Yeah. So it's a tons of 2600s.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who is the man? This is an insane field. Have you played everybody in the top, or have you not played some of them or a lot of them? Like, have you played Navarra, Korobov, David Anton, Saric? Yeah.
So wait a second. Let me look at the list. I played Navarra. I played Korobov. I played Anton, Saric. I didn't play Volokitin. I played Krivorishko. I played Sargsyan. I played Bogdan Dik. Actually, yeah. When I look at the list, I played really a lot of them.
In over the board, not like Title 2.
No. I don't count that. Yeah, over the board.
Wow. In classical or just everything?
Classical, actually, most of them.
Wow. Where do you get to play all these people?
Good question. So Navarra. Navarra I played in World Rapids, so that's not classical. But Korobov I played many times. I played him in World Team Championship. I played him in Dubai Open.
Wow.
It's nice event, by the way. Really well organized.
Yeah, I know those tournaments in the UAE over there, like Dubai and Qatar. I mean, I'm sure they're beautiful. They're very nice.
For sure.
Doha.
And then David Anton, I played in the Spanish league. I played him many times. I played him in Gibraltar. Ivan Saric, I played in the European Championship 2016. I was maybe the only time I played it.
I feel like Saric is also a guy who is like constantly going up and up. Like every time I see him.
He's like always around 2650, 2700. Always goes up and down.
No, now he's he had so he's almost 2700. I think he's at his highest rating ever.
No, actually he had, pretty sure he had 2700.
You are correct. Wow. He was 2703 and he went down 60 points.
It's so tough. You were talking about like,
oh my god,
getting depressed. it must be so tough. Like let's say you work 5 years of your life to get from 2650 to 2700, and you're really happy, I made it, and then you lose 60 points. What are you going to say to yourself? Like, how do you motivate yourself? It's just, it's so heartbreaking, you know.
If you woke up tomorrow and you were 2590, how would you feel?
I would probably quit chess. It's
really.
I mean, I would definitely go and study, I think. Yeah.
Wow. You mean quit playing or quit everything?
Not like everything. I would probably play once in a while, but not like now.
But you know, here he lost 60 points and now he gained 45 of them back. When I look at people doing that, I'm always like, why can't I do that? I feel like I'm experiencing that right now. I was 24-30 at my highest, and I was like 3 norms. Maybe GM was not so far away. Now I'm like 23-40. I'm like, dude, if I lose any more points, I can't play chess anymore. Like,
yeah, I'm also a bit like that. It's all about mentality, though.
I know.
Like, some people are really good at recovering and being able to just look forward. No, it's impressive what Starich does, for sure. Just never lose hope and believe in yourself.
Yeah, most titled like IMs and GMs who come to the United States to study and then like get the degree and just represent our colleges here, they lose like 100 points. So there's a couple of GMs who came here and like now a couple of years later, they just play these norm events, you know, these like round robin events. They play these talented kids, they make draws, they lose games, and suddenly they're like minus 100. You know, by the way, if you ever are done with chess, you can just do that. You can just like play these norm events. You want to like go study in university and you just want to play some nonsense games, get paid like $1,500, $2,000.
Oh, they get paid that much?
Yeah. GMs here get anywhere between like $1,200 and $2,000 to just be a GM in a norm event.
I didn't know it was that much. Okay, that's something to think about.
I'm like, okay, we don't do this in New York, but I am sure that in the norm events around the world, you can be offered more money to lose a game here and there. Although I trust you to be a gentleman of integrity.
And yeah, they have these tournaments in Hungary, which they don't have the best reputation, let's say.
Yeah, see, I had a friend who went to play a norm event somewhere. I'm not gonna say where. And in the first day, the guy came to him. He's like, "Welcome, you know, like, please feel at home. If you want a win in any game, just let me know. I'll talk to the player. We'll settle on a price. You want to draw? If you want a hooker."
Yeah, I actually have a friend who. When I was just 12 years old, so he was also 12, 13 years old. He's 1 year older, and he went to the tournament with his father, and yeah, the father got offered
wow,
some other things than chess related.
Wow. Okay, I thought this was going in the direction that your friend was offered, which is kind of weird, but
that would make it weirder, yeah. You get all kinds of offers and.
That's insane, man. Yeah,
those places.
That's so crazy. I remember, I forgot who I was speaking to, but I was asking, like, you know, there's like a bunch of young Dutch players, and they're all. Maybe it was you. I don't think it was you, but we were talking, I think, on stream one day with somebody, and I said, why are all these like Dutch players now suddenly just like going from 25 to 2550 to 2600 to 2640? And the response was, oh, they play in Europe. It's just easier to play chess in Europe. And I don't think you said that because you play chess in Europe. I don't know. I don't think you would have said that.
I didn't say that, I think.
Yeah. But someone said that to me, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess it's just easier to play tournaments in Europe. Like, I don't know why. It's like more relaxed.
I mean, Europe is one thing, but it depends on what you compare it with. Obviously, if you compare playing Pardubice Open with playing an open tournament in India, it's of course Pardubice Open is going to be much easier than a tournament in India, where you have all these underrated kids who at least play like 100, 200 more than their rating.
It's like 500 sometimes, man.
If you yeah, for sure. If you want to lose rating, you should go to India. That's for sure.
I tell the story a lot. I played a couple of kids actually from India when I went to the Czech Republic. And the second one that I played, he beat me, and he played like almost a perfect game. and he was rated maybe 2100, and then a couple of months later he was the highest rated 11-year-old in the world. He was like 2440 IM.
That's like classic Indian kid story.
I mean, just the worst. Like, I'm sitting here playing, he's just out calculating me like this is completely ridiculous. But yeah, so and his rating was 2100, 2150. But it was nuts. Like, I was looking at his tournaments from India, but playing in Czech Republic, Dubai, Slovenia, Serbia. Like, he was just traveling the whole world playing these tournaments and gaining rating.
It's just bad luck if you get paired against these kids. Nothing else to say. It's just bad luck.
Yeah, that's why I asked if you were free of that in the EU individual. But I guess they can't play, so that's kind of nice. But I would expect I would expect you to take care of business anyway. So I generally keep these to like an hour and a half. So we're kind of a little bit over an hour. I wanted to end with two questions. I was going to ask you this at some point while we were talking, but the first one is a bit more serious than the second one. So I've always wondered, do you like the fact that you are like born and raised and like grew up in Norway, representing Norway? Do you like the fact that like the world champion is the number one of your country, arguably the greatest player of all time is the number one of your country? Is it something to like inspire and look up to, and you get to work with the guy and everything? Or would you rather be the number one of a country yourself? Like, would you rather be the guy for a country? I've always wondered that. I mean, it must be pros and cons on both sides, right? But yeah, I suppose that's how I would phrase that question.
It's a good question. I've thought about it myself, but it's definitely more positive than negative. It's just having Magnus Carlsen in my country. He's like been number one for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just been growing the game of chess so much more. Like before Magnus, nobody basically knew what chess was in Norway. Nobody cared about chess. It was not popular at all. So Magnus has definitely popularized the game of chess on TV, and he's all over media. There is probably not a single person in Norway who doesn't know who he is, and that's just good. Good for me also if we're thinking about sponsors, publicity, and also he's been an inspiration since I started playing chess. So only positive things to say.
When you started chess? Is it because, did you just kind of naturally come to it, or was it also because he wasn't already world champion, was he?
No, he wasn't. So that was like after my time. But I guess like a lot of the kids who start to play chess in Norway these days might be because of the Magnus effect. But for me, it was when I started playing chess, that was like 2005. Then he was a strong GM, but he wasn't
right.
He wasn't famous, or he wasn't like a top elite player. So I started naturally. It didn't have anything to do with Magnus.
I got you. And in terms of monetizing, at least like chess as a career, obviously you can play it, but when you're playing it, you rely on two things. I mean, you rely on winning tournaments and making the money that way, or you rely on, I guess, sponsors. If you wear clothes that have a sponsor on it, is that? Yeah,
it's hard to just gain the money from playing tournaments and leagues. It's not that much, let's say. But some of it is from that, but mostly it's sponsors.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize, because I was speaking with Nils, and he kind of said like, yeah, I mean, you can make a course nowadays. It's like very popular thing to do. Do you have a course?
No, I actually don't. But Nils is right. You can make a chessable course, let's say, and then you'll make fine from that. So yeah, that's probably something I will do in the future.
Yeah.
But I was mostly from leagues and some sponsors. That's where I earn from.
But I think there's an entire, like, besides the YouTube stuff, before all of this online stuff, you could run like chess schools. I mean, is that the thing that's popular in Norway? You know, you have like different after-school programs. You have camps you can run for kids who are interested in chess. Like, if you're just looking at it not as a player but just as a career, I'm sure there's different ways to monetize if that's the profession that you want to kind of if you want to have chess as the focus, but not as a player.
Yeah, for sure. I think if I wanted to become a chess teacher, I could definitely make a living from that, because there are a lot of kids who are really interested and motivated to improve their chess here, and I could teach them. I'm not sure about the school program. We didn't have that for like younger kids here in Norway, but we have this high school program in Norway, which is
oh wow,
which is really nice. It's run by Simen Agderstein.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But that's like from the age of 15 to 18, and usually all of the best players from Norway went to that school. So I went there, Magnus went there, John Ludwig Hammer went there, and that's there you can combine school with chess, and you can travel to tournaments without having problems.
Here,
it's really nice.
Here's the opposite. You don't focus on the older kids because they're not, well, I guess you're describing very talented players, but here, if it's just kids who are like a little bit interested in chess and they want to play some tournaments, and chess is one of the 5 things that they do besides sports, art, whatever. So they do chess on Tuesdays, and then you just charge for a semester, like 10 classes, they pay $500. This is what it's like in New York. I don't know if it's like this everywhere. And so that's it. Okay. The kid pays $500 for 10 classes, and then there's a group of kids, and then the chess program takes the money, and they pay an instructor every week. So
okay, cool. I mean, at least you guys have the option for that. So
that's not a thing in Norway. You can't just like create a chess school for kids and do after school classes. Wow.
I haven't heard about it, no, but maybe if I would try, it would be possible. I don't know.
All right, well, there
could be possible. Maybe you get an idea.
Don't lose 60 points. You lose 60 points, that might be the other career. But I don't know. Like, do you play?
Plan B.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Do I don't know. Everybody's different. I always wanted to, because I realized I wasn't gonna make it as a professional player. Obviously, like I was like, okay, well, I don't want to work a desk job. So
you found a better career.
Well, now, but even before, as a teacher, teaching in New York, you want to make money through chess. That's it. You want to make money. How you can make money? So you teach kids. That's it. And this was before courses. But the last question I wanted to ask, this is a fun one. I asked you once on stream about this, but we played a game once in New York in the Marshall Chess Club when you visited. So I'm just, what was that time of your life like? Was that the only time you were in New York? What were you visiting New York for? We played in the Marshall. It was a 30-minute game. It was a Karo Khan. I think you were white, and I was terrified.
Crazy that you remember the game.
I do. I don't know why I remember this. And I remember I was better, and I was maybe winning, but I was scared of you, and you like attacked me, and I just forced perpetual. That's what I remember about this game.
I neither remember I played you or the game, so...
but you remember you were like at the Marshall, you played a tournament or something. Yeah.
I remember that really well. We were on the summer vacation in New York. It was summer of 2011. Just with my family. We were in New York, and then we went to Miami, Orlando. I also played the US Open. Like, I think it was 1 week after that rapid event we played in Marshall Chess Club. So
yeah,
I think I was in the US for 1 month, and I was 12 years old at the time. Because I have really good memories from that time.
That means that I think
New York was really nice.
Was it? You liked it more than the other places?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because I don't remember that much. Because it's 11 years ago, but yeah, we had a great time.
I remember those. I don't know why I specifically remember playing you. Maybe it's because when you go to the Marshall as a New Yorker, it's 99% New Yorkers. So when a person who is not from New York comes, it's like, oh, wow. But when it's like I remember the whole club was like talking to you guys because you were not from the US at all. I like remember you guys were like mini celebrities because you weren't from even the country.
People were just so friendly, and we just loved the atmosphere there. It just felt really good.
Yeah,
to go there.
Yeah,
so you guys in New York, I guess everybody feels very welcomed in Marshall Chess Club.
We definitely. It's not like that anymore, unfortunately. I think everything has moved online. Marshall has become less of kind of a social club and more of a there is a million kids now playing chess, so it's just kids running around crazy, and yeah, it's a little bit less welcoming in terms of a social club. But yeah, I was curious. I was like, why were you in New York? Was that the only time you've ever been in New York?
Unfortunately, yeah, that was the only time. I wish I came back. I'll definitely come back at some point when I have the time. It's a lovely city. You're lucky to live there.
Now it's a little less lovely, but when you come,
people say it's like the nicest city in the world you can live in.
What? Do they really?
Like, I've heard from some people, they say like it's the coolest.
It's the coolest city. I think so.
Maybe not the nicest, but coolest.
A lot of if you haven't lived here, you can't talk shit about it. A lot of people talk shit because they see stuff in the news or whatever. It's you got to be a little tough in the city. It's definitely a little less friendly than like maybe some Norwegian cities, but yeah, it's a cool place. It's a cool place. If you come, I can take you to some cool places. Also, you can meet the dog. Jordan Van Forest once said that when he comes to New York, he's gonna sleep on my couch, but he has never actually followed up on this promise. But we do have a couch. You're more than welcome to sleep on it, and an air mattress.
I'll buy a ticket tomorrow.
Oh, okay. after the EU teams,
You'll see me soon, but that's a tempting offer.
You'll have to play with my dog, so that's the only tax you have to pay.
Be more than happy.
Yeah, that's basically all, man. Honestly, it was a pleasure catching up. We've done some commentary streams together, and the chess community loves you. They frequently refer to you as the most handsome GM in the world. So I hope you can honor this title and wear it proudly.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. You have great viewers. All of them are really nice.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. We'll be cheering for you. Hopefully, I cover your games in the EU individual, and
hopefully I can play some good games.
Yeah, play some good games. I'll do my best to remember it this time.
Cool. So, thanks, Levy, and thanks for inviting me.
As always, folks, if you made it this far on the show, I just want to thank you for your continued support of my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, my courses, this podcast, and everything in between. And I will see you right back here in Gotham City with our next guest very soon.